What's up, Skate Rat? So I'm at the Abandoned Buildings DIY here specifically to skate transition. Now I decided to come here today for a different reason, but this is kind of what I expected. So recently a new Instagram page popped up and it was suggested to me. And it's some young, like 14-year-old kids traveling around the city I live in and kind of just posting skate spots. And I followed them. I enjoy seeing them discover things that, the older skaters have known about for a very long time. And they pretty much discovered this building. So why I came here specifically today is because I was curious, but I kind of had a feeling. They tried to make like a slappy flat bar type thing that sits on a couple of bricks. Obviously these kids don't necessarily understand what they're doing. They ended up finding some fence posts and stuff like that, but they weren't able to get it to lock down. This honestly isn't even hard, so I'm not trying to judge them at all. The only thing I'll judge them about is if we come over here, if you can see this big pile of gravel looking stuff, this is all concrete. So that's kind of annoying because the crew who came out and built this, which I'll explain why toilet pisses me off too, but the crew that came out and built this, they left a couple of bags of cement in a room down there. And they've been there for a year and a half, so I don't think they'd be like bummed out or something if these kids used them. But I don't know, just kind of the fact that they did this annoys me a little bit. And the crew who built this painted, a ninja on it and kind of put like a logo of theirs. So it's just like a tad bit annoying that someone spray painted over the top of that, because there's obviously a lot of room for graffiti here. But before we start skating, there's one thing that I'm tempted to do. So these kids, obviously it looks like there's just two of them. They don't necessarily have guidance, and I'm not saying they really need guidance, but what I'm tempted to do is kind of just shoot them a message and be like, hey, do you guys want a flat bar? Like, if you come up here and sweep up the concrete, if you want it here, if you want it at your house, I'll just give you a flat bar. I have all the stuff to make flat bars. I have tops to flat bars. And I wouldn't mind just doing that. Who knows? Maybe I'll invite them over and see if they want to skate at the park, as long as I got parents' permission, because skating bridges borders of age, but obviously the world doesn't really understand that. Anyway, we are here to film something else for Grind King. Now, I'm still iffy about the last line I did. I might ditch the line and use just one of the single clips because those came out fine. But I'm going to warm up in here because this transition is nice, but it's really hard to skate and it's kind of sketchy and scary and you really don't have like a ton of room to get to it. But eventually I'm going to work my way to the other side of the building and actually start trying tricks on the other mini down there. Hopefully they didn't damage that, because that thing is about 20 years old. But let's warm up. Well, that has to be the least impressive warm-up, but as I said before, it's kind of hard to skate this thing, and I decided to board slide that, which is kind of a nightmare. But we're going to head down to the other side of the building now, and we're going to look to get a couple of mini tricks down there. First one I want to start with is switch front rock, just because I think that one will go fairly quickly once I warm up to that transition. And then after that, I'm not entirely sure. Just kind of want to film a decent bit, see what feels comfortable, because while it's like a really good height and a really good transition, it is really hard to skate between the roll up, and I got to see if my Bondo is still even on the bottom of it. But I'll see you guys down there. I am happy to say that my Bondo is holding up pretty good. I mean, this place doesn't see like a ton of weather because there is a roof on it, but this thing has stood longer than I've skated, and it's just always a ton of fun. And it seems like no one ever truly paints over DMX, so it just makes for such a cool background. But we're going to warm up with some basic mini tricks and then get into switch front rock. Well, it was successful. Honestly, the entire time I did not expect it to be successful, but somehow it worked out in the end. It was just so weird to carve front side, or switch front side, into it, and then get my upper body to twist. And if you've ever done a front rock, you understand this. It is all about like the feeling in the hips and in the abs and that, because when you twist your body to do it, you can kind of feel it in your hips. And if I can have that feeling, I know for a fact I'm gonna at least stick it. And I didn't have that feeling the entire time. And the time I did it, you notice I accidentally went in a little backside, which just like gave me enough momentum to come out of it. And it was done, in my opinion at least, really nice. I did try backside big spin for a while and I stuck a couple, but that would have to be a session for another time, because while I'm out in the woods and it's nice and breezy for the most part, it's very humid today. So the session, 2 hours, not bad. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Kind of stoked on this one, way more than the last one. But join me in the next episode. Well, actually the next video I'll be in Woodward, so stay tuned for that. Have a great day and keep pushing forward, guys.